Good news! Jingran updated kit breakdown. Jingran is expected to be a fusion main DPS who wields a broad blade, and honestly, he already looks like one of the most unique upcoming characters in Wuthering Waves. According to Seal, instead of following the traditional attack scaling formula that most main DPS characters use, Jingran's damage is heavily tied to his maximum HP. On top of that, his gameplay introduces a yin-yang dual form system, circuit management, powerful enhanced heavy attacks, and one of the most cinematic resonance liberations we've seen so far. While everything is still subject to change before his official release, his current kit already paints the picture of a character with a very distinct playstyle. One of the biggest things that immediately stands out about Jing is the fact that he isn't your typical main DPS. Most damage dealers in Wuthering Waves want as much attack as possible to maximize their damage, but Jing works very differently. His offensive power is heavily tied to his maximum HP, making him one of the few HP scaling damage dealers currently revealed. By the way, Lubar just dropped a 28% discount for Lunites. Lubar.gg is now lubar.com. Lubars offers more affordable prices than buying in-game. The service is safe and trustworthy and has excellent reviews on Trustpilot. You can even self-top up, which is super fast and easy. Click the link below now and claim version 3.4 coupon for 5% discount. That alone changes the way players will likely build him, because increasing HP doesn't just improve his survivability, it also directly increases his overall damage output. His gameplay also appears to revolve around staying on the battlefield for extended periods instead of constantly swapping in and out. Rather than quickly using every available ability before switching characters, Jing continuously builds resources while maintaining pressure on enemies. This creates a much more methodical combat style, where every action contributes toward a larger payoff later in the rotation. Instead of simply pressing abilities whenever they're available, players will likely be rewarded for maintaining a smooth rhythm and carefully managing their resources. Personally, I think this type of gameplay is always satisfying because it gives every button you press a purpose. Every attack feels like it's building towards something bigger instead of existing on its own, making the entire combat loop feel much more engaging from start to finish. Another major highlight of Jingran's kit is his resonance liberation, titled Extinguish the Life Lantern, Open the Gates of the Underworld. Even based on the early showcase alone, this ultimate already looks like one of the most visually impressive abilities introduced in Wuthering Waves. When Jingran activates his resonance liberation, he extinguishes the mysterious life lantern that accompanies him. As the lantern's light fades away, a massive ghostly gate emerges from the battlefield before pulling nearby enemies into an independent realm where the battle continues. Rather than simply displaying a flashy attack animation, the entire battlefield transforms into a supernatural domain, giving the ultimate an incredibly cinematic presentation. This animation perfectly matches Jingran's overall theme. His design revolves around the balance between yin and yang, life and death, and the connection between the living world and the underworld. His resonance liberation doesn't simply deal damage, it reinforces his identity through visual storytelling. Even though the complete mechanics inside this mysterious realm haven't been fully revealed yet, the presentation alone already makes this one of the most memorable ultimates currently shown. Another mechanic that plays a central role in Jingran's gameplay is his yin-yang dual form system. Throughout battle, Jing constantly alternates between two opposing forms that represent the balance of yin and yang. These transformations aren't just cosmetic effects either. They appear to be the foundation of his entire combat system. Each form contributes to resource generation, maintaining combat momentum, and preparing Jing for his strongest attacks. Instead of staying in one stance throughout combat, players will likely need to continuously transition between both forms to keep the rotation flowing smoothly. Learning when to switch between yin and yang will probably become one of the biggest factors in maximizing his overall damage output. This mechanic also fits perfectly with the philosophy behind yin and yang themselves. Rather than one form being stronger than the other, both forms appear to complement each other, creating a balanced gameplay loop where every transition serves a purpose. Alongside his dual form system, circuit management is another major mechanic that defines Jingran's playstyle. As he attacks and uses his abilities, he continuously generates circuit resources. These resources unlock access to his strongest offensive tools, making proper circuit management one of the most important aspects of his gameplay. Instead of spending those resources as quickly as possible, players are encouraged to maintain an efficient rotation while steadily building more circuit. Every attack contributes toward filling the resource gauge, every transformation keeps the momentum going, and every successful rotation brings Jing and closer to his biggest damage windows. Because of this design, every action feels connected, making the combat flow much more satisfying than simply pressing abilities on cooldown. The main payoff for all of that preparation comes through Jingran's enhanced heavy attacks. After accumulating enough circuit, he can unleash significantly stronger heavy attacks that appear to be the primary source of his overall damage. These empowered attacks serve as the climax of his entire rotation, rewarding players for properly managing both their circuit resources and yin-yang transitions. Based on everything revealed so far, Jingran's overall gameplay loop currently appears to be fairly straightforward. You enter combat, rotate between yin and yang forms, generate circuit resources, build toward your enhanced heavy attacks, unleash those powerful attacks, and then repeat the entire cycle while maintaining pressure on your enemies. Of course, actually mastering this rotation will probably require much more precision than simply understanding those steps on paper. Another aspect that immediately makes Jing stand out is his heavy emphasis on maximum HP. Unlike traditional main DPS characters that convert attack into damage, Jingran converts his HP into offensive power. During one of the showcase builds, he reached nearly 50,000 HP, demonstrating just how valuable HP investment appears to be for his overall performance. Normally, stacking HP on a damage dealer would mean sacrificing offensive potential, but Jingran completely changes that philosophy. Every increase to his HP simultaneously improves his survivability and his damage output. Instead of choosing between offense and defense, players are rewarded with both at the same time, giving him a very different identity compared to conventional attack scaling DPS characters. His interaction with shields further strengthens that identity. According to the current early kit information, Jingran frequently gains or maintains shields throughout combat. These shields aren't simply defensive tools meant to keep him alive. Instead, they appear to be directly integrated into his gameplay, allowing him to remain safely on the battlefield while continuously generating circuit resources and preparing his strongest attacks. This creates an interesting synergy where survivability directly contributes to offensive performance. The more comfortably Jing can stay on the field, the more consistently he can maintain his entire combat rotation. It's a refreshing design that makes defensive mechanics feel just as important as offensive ones. Outside of gameplay, Jingran's overall character design is equally distinctive. He is an adult male resonator with proportions similar to Rover, but what immediately catches your attention is the strong yin-yang inspiration throughout his appearance. His design emphasizes balance, duality, and opposing forces existing together, while also presenting him as a mysterious figure who constantly walks between the living world and the underworld. That theme is reflected not only in his clothing, but also throughout his combat animations, making his visual identity feel incredibly cohesive. Another exciting piece of information is the newly revealed Echo set, Lamp of Nether Road, which appears to have exceptional synergy with Jingran's current kit. The two-piece effect grants 10% HP, immediately benefiting Jing, and because every increase to his maximum HP directly improves both his survivability and his damage output. Since his gameplay revolves around remaining on the field while continuously building circuit resources, the additional HP naturally complements his overall playstyle. The 5-piece effect appears to be even more impressive. Whenever the wearer receives a shield, they gain 5% crit rate, which can stack up to 4 times for a total of 20% crit rate. Once all 4 stacks are active, the wearer also gains an additional 15% fusion damage. Looking at Jingran's current mechanics, this Echo set almost feels like it was specifically designed for him. Because he naturally maintains shields throughout combat, he should be able to keep all 4 crit rate stacks active very consistently. A nearly permanent 20% crit rate is an enormous boost that not only improves his overall consistency, but also makes gearing significantly easier. So, what do you guys think about these?